Yo, what's going on, guys? Winner Kills here. Welcome to a brand new locals feature match, new format, I guess if you want to call it, post YCS Hartford. If you guys haven't seen my YCS Hartford vlog, definitely check it out. I uploaded it yesterday, and if I remember, I'll leave a link to it up in the top right for you guys to check out. But here we are in round one of my Tuesday locals. Yeah, I decided I would record because I will not be there on this coming Saturday because I'll be going to a regional in Toronto. So I wanted to get my feature matches recorded so I have some more content going up over the later part of the week and into the weekend. So here we have me playing Swordsoul on the left versus my friend Partho playing DDD on the right. We open up pretty standard here. You know, this hand definitely dies to Nibiru, but really not much I could do, I think, with the given cards that are available to be able to actually fully play around the Nibiru by getting the Baron on field. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm like way more willing to play around Nibiru. Even game one, I just don't think going for draw 2 combo is like remotely worth it anymore. Just because a lot of people are maining Nibiru, especially after this event. And I don't want to be caught lacking if I can help it. So yeah. End board, Chijiao, Baron, and one set, which I think is a Heavenly Dragon Circle. Wish it was a blackout, but I would not have been able to end on Baron had I not searched long enough the Chijiao, so just kind of had to bluff it like it was a blackout. But I think my opponent at this point has kind of passed the blackout check. Well, maybe not, because he pendulum summoned, so probably wouldn't be wise to black out there anyways, because he could just like normal summon into something like a Kepler and then into a contract into a Griffin Spec Griffin, because he just started pen 2 there. Yeah, he's going to go into the Wave Caesar, activate the effect, so that I think he can bring back, like, any DD monster that is, like, destroyed by battle this turn at the end of the battle phase, and then and then he takes 1,000 for each during the next standby phase. So he's just going to go and crash. I'm like, okay, so he's probably setting up some sort of Zeus play. I'll let him waste his battle phase, that's fine. And he's also trying to get the graveyard effect of Caesar to go ahead and send an extender, so he can basically go ahead and send, like, Swirl Slime, and I do decide to negate that effect in the grave just to keep him off an extender, like of Necro Slime or Vice Typhon. Yeah, I honestly I probably should have let that go through. I don't know why I negated the graveyard effect of that, because if he had another extender in hand anyways, like I probably just let him see what he sends and then negate whatever he sends. But maybe I was worried about a Zeus play. I use a Cerberus there to pop Tell and my back row. I'm not going to chain the circle there, obviously, just because I don't want to lose my Chijiao if I don't have to, especially since I haven't exhausted its negate yet. So I don't want to like go minus in that extent. Still love playing circle post YCS. I think it's definitely a mandatory card in the main deck at 2 copies at least. So now we're going to see him activate Tell. Tell is going to go ahead and send... Oh, so Tell sends a monster. I think he could search like a DD Speller Trap off of the wave. But then he's going to go ahead and get into the fusion anyways. Here to go for Genghis. And then he's just going to slap Machina on top of it. And then from here he goes into the Zeus. So it's a 2-mat Zeus here. And I think he just passes on that. And I'm like, alright. Well, it passes on, you know, with another set too. So, the play I make this turn is super suspect. Totally terrible play. And it all comes from a misunderstanding of how many materials were underneath the Zeus. Because I was under the impression that there were 3 under the Zeus. I don't know why. Just one of those things that I just tend to do mid-game where, like, my brain just plays tricks on me. I don't know what it is. Where like I tunnel vision too hard on one thing, or I overlook something, or I misunderstand one thing. In this case, it was misunderstanding the fact that he had only 2 materials under the Zeus, and I thought he had 3. Now, yes, I could have just clarified him, like, how many materials underneath it, and he would have told me 2. And I would have been like, okay, there's only 2. And it only matters because of something that's going to happen here in a moment. Like, the secret effect of Zeus that everybody probably forgets about. I also have double Droll Knock in hand because I am maining the card this format. I think going forward, main deck Droll is pretty good. I think it's really strong against everything. and, you know, is decent at worst against, like, a lot of other decks. So yeah, you're gonna see me use Baron in the standby phase, bring back Moe, reveal, get token. And at this point, like, I'm trying to force out whatever the set card is, so I go for Dragite. We're gonna go ahead and draw one off Moe. We draw into Desire, which is kind of huge. And at this point, I need a way to use my Tenyis, so I think I actually end up normal summoning my Shithana. And I only do this because I didn't want to, like, Desires to try to draw into some sort of normal summon for Swordsoul. Or no, I guess I do. But I know I end up normal summoning the Shithana, and I don't think I draw into any normal summon for Swordsoul. I don't draw into, like, a Longin or anything. I think I drew into, like, Imperm and Droll, I think. I just had so many Drolls in my hand. Yeah, I have 3 Drolls in my hand. So you see why I had to make the play that I did, which was normal to Shithana, which is fine because it's going to allow me to activate Ashen to get into Vishuddha, which is going to force out this Zeus or whatever backdoor he has at this point anyways. And, you know, normally at this point, he activates Dark Contract with the Valkyrie or with the Witch. I negate with Dragite. And then since a card was destroyed, he triggers Zeus effect to attach. And at this point, I'm like, okay, this is going to be his 4th material. So, like, I just have to chain Cheese out here and take the board wipe. Where, you know, again, me misunderstanding something. And this is where it always helps to just, like, slow down and pay attention. Because you don't have things like this happening to you. So we just get our fields wiped unnecessarily. So, like, it is what it is. Because I was under the assumption that he would be getting his 4th material under the Zeus from its effect. When another card is destroyed, you can attach from, like, hand, deck, or extra deck. So that's why I negated that. Had I known there was only going to be 3 and still has only access to 1 cent, I still, you know, there's no reason to cheese out there. We just hold it for when I have a shoot to bounce it. Because he's going to chain it there anyways, and then I just go for game. But I just make a Monk with the Adara I had in hand. Adara adds back the Vishuddha, I think. Swinging for 1,000. And my opponent has no cards in hand and is top decking here. So I'm like, you know, it could be worse, right? If my opponent had, like, a full hand, it would be a little bit more worse off. But luckily, he just passes. And I set another card, which I think is just another circle. We start with Adara to add back Longyan. Longyan pitch the Adara, discard, you know, summon out that and token, go into Baron again, because we had returned him, you know, off of his effect prior. Burn for 12, and that's just going to be game with, like, any, like, Ashen to play. And my opponent also just is, like, in a very bad spot and has to play the 1 Omni negate. That technically wasn't game on board there, but he just decided to scoop it up anyways. So we go to game 2. My opponent is going to opt to go first. I open, like, Circle, Imperm. Like, I wasn't sure about Droll in this matchup too. Like, I think I kept it in going second, but I also had, like, Dark Ruler and Nibiru and Lightning Storm in the side as well, to kind of counteract this very combo heavy deck. And I just unfortunately did not really see any of those things. Also, shout outs to Stay Classy with the new field center. Love their metal field centers. But yeah, he's going to go into Gilgamesh. Obviously, kind of standard line. You see Gilgamesh, you Imperm. Put him on Have More Extenders. In this case, he did not. And here I draw Alumirage for turn, which is hilarious. So now we're going to start with Emergence. Kind of check for Ash, if you will. He doesn't have anything, so we normal summon Moe. Moe reveal Alumirage, summon Token, and my opponent has Collector. And I'm like, I have Circle, man. This is hilarious, right? Because had I not drawn the one of Alumirage here, I would have just chained Circle to summon out Alumirage, and then make Yazi, and then continue to play. But now that I had drawn the Alumirage, it makes things a little awkward because unfortunately Circle can't summon from the deck, or from the hand, to my knowledge, so we had to kind of play like a little bit of a backup line here. Which is just go for the Ashina. And now at this point, I also know I'm safe from Nibiru because he cannot Nibiru while Token Collector is on the field. So I'm pretty much free to play until at least I decide to remove said Collector. So we go Ashina, summon out Vishuddha, and then we go link one into another Monk. And here I have Ash in hand as well, and another Circle. If one of those circles also would have been Chalice too, that could have been very clutch. That means we just keep playing, and we'd probably just OTK here, honestly. And, you know, Illumirage, is, again, it's just a discard at worst, or a reveal for Moyi at worst. That's why I really like the card in the side. Wouldn't main it, because no one's maining Collector. If people were maining Collector, I'd probably main the Illumirage, but I don't think anybody's that psychotic right now. But maybe they are, I don't know. So see me use Vishuda here. I was very tempted to bounce back the Collector, but I knew I'd have to make a Shaman play to get into a Synchro play to begin with. So I was like, there's no reason to, like, bounce the Collector back because I'm expecting to try to, like, play under that. And, like, I'm just making a Berserker at most. And I also don't want to trigger his Gilgamesh. I made the conscious decision just to bounce the Gilgamesh back. So I summon out Illumirage here. And I also, like, just don't have a Yazi play either. Because, you know, you can't use things from the extra deck after you Shaman except for Tenyi things. So... you know, it is what it is. Maybe it would have been smarter to grab Taya here. Because had I had Taya, I could have banished Emergence, use Emergence to make, like, the Taya 5. But then, if he has Collector, I don't know. That's weird, because you'd really only be doing that in this case if you knew, like, Collector was going to be a thing. But even then, I don't know. So we go battle phase here, and Illumirage's on-field effect is coming in clutch, where it says all monsters on the field are losing 300 attack and defense times their level/rank. So I'm able to run over the Collector that has less defense now. It's losing, I think, 1200 defense. So he takes 500 Moyi, and then he activates the Orthos, and then I'm still able to run it over with the Illumirage, still make Yazi main phase 2, draw a card off the Moyi, and pass with another circle set. And my opponent leads with the Night Howl, and that brings back the Necro Slime, and it's basically just one card to get into Gilgamesh. And unfortunately, I don't have any interrupts here to stop this. Had I had, like, another hand trap for this, it'd be really good. And also things are kind of starting to spiral out of control because that Collector is still engraved, which is gonna make it very hard to, like, play next turn. But I guess if I had a stop, and I do ash the Copernicus there, because I just do not want to have more extenders. Even though at this point it probably doesn't matter. But if I did have something for the Gilgamesh, and he passes because of that, I can, like, make a Swordsoul play. That forces the Collector, and then we Yazi pop and keep going. We do decide to trade into, though, the... well, not trade in, but, you know, circle away the Shaman for a Taya for follow-up. So we're kind of chilling for next turn. If he doesn't, you know, put game on board, we'll put up a really oppressive field. But I know he's definitely going to be able to do that. So it's just a matter of me, like, waiting it out to see what he can actually do here. So he activates Contract with the Swamp King, goes for Genghis, and he also has Ragnarok in scale 2, which is kind of huge. As an extender piece, also has access. Well, yeah, he can't make Zeus. Like, the only positive thing here is, like, he cannot make like Zeus or Baron here because he is locked into Fiends. So at least I don't have to worry about those, but he can still make, you know, Mach and X and High Wave Caesar, which is, like, still just insane. And at this point, I'm like, yeah, I'll just see what my next card was, and, you know, we go next game. Yeah, it's just, like, it's just rough in some situations when they have Collector, and, like, it stays on field because, like, you out it, it's not on board anymore, but then you play on your turn, it comes back, and then you need to out it again, and then keep playing. It's just, I hate that the card just keeps coming back. But here we start with Taya and Emergence, and my opponent doesn't have Collector here, which is really lucky for me because I don't think I had Circle. So we got lucky, but, you know, you do need a little bit of luck in this game sometimes. So we're going to resolve Vessel here, and now I'm kind of safe from Nibiru. Do I have Circle Hand? No, that looks like it desires. The reason why I say I'm, like, in quotes, safe from Nibiru is, like, if I don't end up using the Tenyi in my hand engrave, if he nibs the board, then I can just, you know, activate Vishuda in hand, activate Ashina engrave, summon Adara, still get into a level 8, right? Not terrible. But now we're going to go ahead and, you know, do the Boxia Taya play, dump Moyi, then, you know, go into Boxy effect, bring back the Moyi, and that gets us into Chi-Jiao with a draw, which is always really nice. And then I think I search, what do I search here? I have Anti-Spell in hand too, which is really good. So I search the Longyun, so opt to not go for the Blackout. Like sometimes I just do not like searching Blackout. Or maybe that is Circle in my head, so maybe I was strapped for the Collector. But yeah, like... This is sometimes like the thing that's rough about Blackout is like sometimes I just don't want to go for Blackout, just because like it's rough when you don't have Longyun, because it means you're like you give up Baron for a Blackout, and then like you have to use your interruptions in a certain way, like you can't Blackout first. I mean you can, but then you lose out on your Chi-Jiao, so like I don't know, it's weird sometimes. And here I decided to make Chi-Shing. I think I had to do this to give myself a discard outlet for the Longyun in the first place, so I had to kind of worm lock myself so I couldn't make Baron. Otherwise, if I had a way to make Baron, I probably should have. But here we're going to see my opponent activate evenly matched, which is really rough. And I do decide to chain the circle. And that's going to go ahead and add follow up for next turn. I think I grab a Longyun here because I think I already have a Moyi in hand. And then, you know, chain resolves. We go ahead and banish the circle. And at this point, I was like, okay, I feel like I really, you know, have to just call his bluff and keep the anti-spell, and just hope he can't play, right? That's like my only hope. I think I had Ash in hand, and luckily things kind of pan out for me. And he's not able to play through the anti-spell, which is huge. Like, I just had to have him, like, you put your opponent on, like, be able to play through the anti-spell. And that's what I decided to do there. I was really debating on keeping, like, the Chi-Jiao or the Chi-Shing, but I was like, you know what? Anti-spell is probably just better here, and, you know, put him on it, right? So, start our next turn by going for the Baron. Immediately frame one. Then we normal summon Moyi. Moyi reveals another Longyun. Get token, and then here we have Vishuda. So now we're just trying to like pick apart the back row here. And now that I've already summoned like the only non-worm we're gonna summon, now we're gonna use Ashina here while we have token. Get Adhara on the field, and we're pretty much safe from like Collector at this point because we already have Baron out. If he Collectors first, then he can't Nibiru, so now we're going to go ahead and, yeah, I think I synchro here first. I guess the only advantage, like, to not doing the Ashina there would, like, just to make a Dragite first. Like, that would have been kind of nice. But I decided to go for the Boxia. Spin one. Draw one. And now I can Vishuda bounce one by making a Monk. And then I can Baron destroy the other one. Or just destroy the set monster. And then whatever the other set is, if it's anything, you know, of note, we just have Baron to negate. So we have a shoot a bounce one. And then we're going to activate Boxy to bring back Taya. Taya's going to banish summon token. And I could make a second Boxy here, but I think I'm out of Boxias because I used one on my turn one. Now we're just making the Draco Berserker here. So now we're like really safe from Collector, although it's probably too late. Dump Vishuda. And at this point, yeah, if Baron just pops the monster, this is game, because that is 7,000 damage right there. And I have Ash and Emergence in hand, and another Longyun, so... yeah, Baron pops the monster. And I think it was just like a set slime, I think, and then we just go battle phase for game. And yeah, that's going to do it. Yeah, keeping the anti-spell kind of worked out. Maybe it wouldn't have in another world, but there it happened to work out. So if you guys enjoyed the match, leave a like. If you want to see more of my content, click on one of the videos popping up on the bottom of the screen right now. And last but not least, a huge shout out goes to our Divine Level channel members who are Tweeter0226, Pony Start, Cadillacs84, Justin Lamb, and HTH Cyber. Thank you guys so much as always for extremely kind and generous support of the channel.